Hello, friend. How are you today? I want to share something with you that's been weighing on my heart. A story about love, timing, and the choices that quietly shape our entire lives. You know that feeling when you're standing at a crossroads and you choose one path over another? We tell ourselves we can always go back, that doors remain open forever. But sometimes those doors close in ways we never expected. Have you ever wondered what happens when the person you let slip away finds their way to someone you hold dear? When the love you were too afraid to claim becomes the foundation of someone else's happiness? Today, I'm sharing Sarah's story. A woman who discovered that the hardest lessons about love aren't learned when we find it, but when we watch it bloom in places we never imagined it could grow. This is a story about second chances, family bonds, and the bittersweet beauty of watching someone else live the life you once turned away from. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let's walk through this journey together. Because sometimes the most painful stories are the ones that teach us the most about what it truly means to love. Meet Sarah, 28 years old, living in a cozy apartment in Portland, where the morning light filters through sheer curtains just the way she likes it. Every morning, she follows the same ritual. Coffee first. Always black, no sugar. Then she sits by her window, watching the city wake up while she scrolls through emails on her phone. There's something comforting about routine, about knowing exactly what comes next. To everyone around her, Sarah has it all figured out. She's the marketing coordinator who never misses a deadline, the friend who always remembers birthdays, the older sister who gives the best advice. Her colleagues see confidence, her friends see success, her family sees the responsible one, the one who thinks everything through. But if you look closely, really closely, you might notice how her smile sometimes doesn't quite reach her eyes, how she hesitates just a moment too long before making plans for the future, how she changes the subject when conversations turn to serious relationships. Sarah has built a beautiful life, but it's built on something she's tried very hard to forget. 6 years ago, she made a choice. A choice that felt right at the time, but one that's left an invisible scar on her heart. She's learned to live with that scar, to build around it, to pretend it doesn't ache on quiet Sunday mornings when the world feels too still. She's gotten good at convincing herself that some chapters are meant to stay closed, but life has a way of reopening the books we thought we'd put away forever. And sometimes, the people we thought we'd lost forever find their way back into our story in the most unexpected ways. Sarah doesn't know it yet, but her carefully constructed world is about to shift in ways she never saw coming. Sarah's life moves like clockwork, and she likes it that way. Every Tuesday, she meets her younger sister Emma at their favorite coffee shop downtown, the one with mismatched chairs and terrible Wi-Fi, but the best blueberry scones in Portland. Emma always arrives 10 minutes late, breathless and apologetic, her cheeks flushed from rushing. Sarah always arrives 10 minutes early, already securing their usual table by the window. Sorry, Emma laughs, sliding into her chair. Traffic was insane. Sarah just smiles and pushes a latte across the table. Oat milk, extra shot, just how Emma likes it. These Tuesday mornings have become sacred to her. In a world that moves too fast, this hour feels like home. Emma is radiant these days, 24 and fearless in ways Sarah remembers being once, long ago. She talks with her hands, her eyes lighting up as she shares stories from her job at the art gallery, her weekend adventures, her latest photography project. But lately, there's been something new in Emma's voice. A softness, a glow that makes her seem like she's carrying a beautiful secret. I've been seeing someone, Emma says one Tuesday, stirring her latte with a shy smile. Sarah feels her heart warm. Tell me everything. And Emma does. She talks about weekend hiking trips and late-night conversations, about someone who makes her laugh until her stomach hurts, who remembers how she takes her coffee, who sees her art and understands it without explanation. He's different, Emma says, her voice gentle, patient, kind, like he's been through something that taught him what really matters. Sarah listens, genuinely happy. This is what she's always wanted for Emma. This kind of love, the kind that makes you glow from the inside out. The kind Sarah once thought was too scary, too permanent, too much. Week after week, Emma shares more stories. About quiet Sunday mornings and shared dreams. About feeling safe enough to be completely herself. About how he looks at her like she's the answer to a question he's been asking his whole life. Sarah treasures these moments. Her little sister, so happy, so loved, so ready to embrace everything life has to offer. It reminds her of who she used to be, before she learned that sometimes loving someone means being brave enough to risk everything. She has no idea that these coffee shop conversations are about to change everything, that the happiness she's witnessing, the love she's celebrating, is connected to her own story in ways that will shake her to her core. Sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. Sometimes it has perfect, devastating timing. It happens on a Thursday. Emma calls during Sarah's lunch break, her voice bubbling with excitement that practically spills through the phone. "Sarah, I have news." "Amazing news." Sarah pushes aside her salad, smiling at her sister's enthusiasm. "What's going on?" "He proposed?" "Can you believe it? He actually proposed." The words hit Sarah like a physical blow, but she manages to keep her voice steady. "Oh my God, Emma, that's incredible. Tell me everything." "It was perfect, Sarah. We were at this little lake outside the city. You know, the one with the old wooden dock? He said it was special to him, that he'd been there before during an important time in his life. And then he got down on one knee and..." Sarah's world starts to tilt. The lake, the wooden dock. She knows that place. She knows it intimately. "The ring is gorgeous," Emma continues, breathless. "It's vintage, a diamond with these tiny sapphire accents on the sides. He said it belonged to someone important to him once, but that he wanted it to have a new story, a better ending." The phone nearly slips from Sarah's hand. Her coffee cup follows, ceramic shattering against her office floor as hot liquid spreads across white tiles. "Sarah? Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm fine. Just knocked something over." Sarah's voice sounds foreign to her own ears. "Emma? What did you say his name was again?" There's a pause. A terrible, knowing pause that stretches like eternity. David Matthews." "Sarah, I know I've mentioned him before." The world stops spinning. Time fractures. 6 years collapse into nothing. And suddenly, Sarah is 22 again, standing by that same lake, staring at that same ring, her heart hammering as she whispers the word that changed everything. "No." "Sarah? Are you there?" She can't breathe. The air in her office feels thin, insufficient. Her carefully constructed life, her routines, her peace, her acceptance of the past, crumbles like sand through her fingers. David. Her David. The man she loved but was too afraid to marry. The man who begged her not to walk away, whose heart she broke when she chose fear over forever. The man who taught her what love could be, if only she'd been brave enough to stay. And now he's chosen Emma. Sweet, fearless Emma who says yes when life offers her everything Sarah was too scared to take. "I have to go," Sarah whispers. "Wait, don't you want to hear about the wedding plans? Sarah?" But Sarah has already hung up. She sits in her office, surrounded by broken ceramic and spilled coffee, feeling like her entire world has just shifted off its axis. The past isn't past. It's engaged to her little sister. That night, Sarah doesn't eat dinner. She doesn't answer her phone. She doesn't even turn on the lights. She sits on her living room floor in the gathering darkness, a cardboard box in front of her that she hasn't opened in 6 years. Her hands shake as she lifts the lid, as if she's opening a tomb. The first thing she sees is a photograph. David at 22, laughing at something she'd said, his eyes crinkled with joy. His arm is around her shoulders, and she's looking up at him like he hung the stars. They look so young, so certain that love was enough. Beneath the photo, there are ticket stubs from concerts they attended, little notes he used to leave in her textbooks, a pressed flower from their first Valentine's Day. Each item is a small knife, cutting through the walls she's built around her heart. At the bottom of the box, there's an envelope, her name written in his handwriting, but the seal never broken. The letter he tried to give her the day she said no, the day she walked away from everything they'd built together. Her fingers trace the faded ink of her name. She's never read it. She was too afraid then, too raw, too certain that staying away was the only way to heal. But now Emma is wearing his ring. The ring that was once meant for her. "I'm not ready," she whispers to the empty room, remembering the words she'd said to him that day by the lake. "I need to find myself first. I need to be sure." He'd looked at her with such pain in his eyes. "But I am sure, Sarah. I've never been more sure of anything in my life." "Then wait for me," she'd pleaded. "How long?" he'd asked. "How long do I wait for someone who's afraid to choose me?" She hadn't had an answer then. She doesn't have one now. Sarah opens the letter with trembling fingers. His words, written in grief and love, fill the page. "Sarah, I know you're scared. I know this feels too big, too soon. But love isn't about timing, it's about choice. Every day we choose to love or we choose to fear. I chose you. I hope someday you'll choose me too. But I can't wait forever for someone who sees our love as a prison instead of freedom. I hope you find what you're looking for. I hope it makes you happy." The letter falls from her hands as tears she's held back for 6 years finally break free. He did wait. For a while. But eventually he learned to love again. He learned to choose someone who chose him back. And that someone is her sister. 3 weeks pass before Sarah finds the courage to face Emma again. They meet at the bridal boutique downtown, where Emma is trying on dresses for her engagement party. Sarah stands behind her sister, watching Emma's reflection in the 3-way mirror, and feels something shift inside her chest. Emma looks radiant, not just happy, transformed. There's a peace in her eyes that Sarah recognizes, but has never possessed herself. The peace of someone who said yes when love knocked at her door. "Sarah, you've been so quiet lately," Emma says, adjusting the flowing fabric of a cream-colored dress. "Are you okay? You seem distant." Sarah meets her sister's eyes in the mirror. For a moment, she considers telling her everything. About David, about the ring, about the choice she made 6 years ago that led them all to this moment. But then Emma smiles, that same bright, trusting smile she's had since she was 7 years old. And Sarah understands something profound. This isn't about what she lost. This is about what Emma found. "He makes you feel safe," Sarah says quietly. Emma's face softens. "He does. It's like he understands something about love that I'm just learning. He's patient. He doesn't rush me or make me feel like I have to be anyone other than who I am." Sarah's breath catches. She remembers David saying something similar to her once. Love isn't about changing someone, it's about seeing who they really are and choosing them anyway. She'd been too young then to understand what he meant, too afraid to believe she was worth choosing. But Emma believes it. Emma has always believed she was worthy of love. worthy of forever, worthy of taking the leap that Sarah couldn't take. "You love him," Sarah whispers. "I do," Emma says simply. "I love him so much it scares me sometimes. But it's a good kind of scared, you know, like standing at the edge of something beautiful." Sarah closes her eyes, and for the first time in 6 years, she feels something other than regret about her choice. She feels gratitude, because her no led to Emma's yes. Her fear gave David the chance to find the kind of love he deserved, fearless, whole, complete. "You're going to be a beautiful bride," Sarah says, and means it. The wedding day arrives like dawn after the longest night. Sarah stands in the bridal suite, fastening the delicate buttons on Emma's dress. Her hands are steady now, her heart calm in ways she didn't think possible 3 months ago. "You look perfect," she whispers, stepping back to admire her sister. Emma turns from the mirror and there are tears in her eyes. "Sarah, I need to tell you something. David. He mentioned that he dated someone seriously in college, someone he cared about deeply. He said it didn't work out, but that it taught him what he was really looking for." Sarah's breath catches, but not with the sharp pain she expected. Instead, there's something softer, something like peace. "He said whoever she was, he's grateful to her. Because loving her, even though it ended, prepared his heart to love me the way I deserve to be loved." Sarah reaches for Emma's hands, holding them gently. "Emma, that's beautiful." They walk down the aisle together, Sarah as maid of honor, Emma as the radiant bride. When the doors open and the music begins, Sarah sees David waiting at the altar. For a moment their eyes meet across the crowded church. And what passes between them isn't pain or regret or unfinished business. It's understanding. It's forgiveness. It's the quiet acknowledgement that some endings are actually beginnings in disguise. David's face transforms when he sees Emma walking toward him. Pure joy, pure love, pure certainty. This is how love should look. Fearless and complete. As Emma reaches the altar and takes David's hands, Sarah takes her seat in the front row. She watches them exchange vows, promise forever, choose each other with the kind of courage she couldn't find at 22. And for the first time in 6 years, Sarah isn't thinking about what she lost. She's thinking about what she gained, the knowledge that love doesn't always look the way we expect it to. Sometimes the greatest act of love is stepping aside so someone else can step forward. Sometimes letting go is how we learn to hold on to what really matters. Sarah smiles as David kisses Emma, and she means it completely. Funny how life rarely gives us clean endings. Sometimes the people we part ways with never truly leave. They linger in old songs, in familiar places, in the way we hesitate before saying yes again. Sarah's story isn't just about love lost. It's about what we do with the choices that shaped us. Do we carry them like weight, or let them carve space in us for something new to grow? Maybe. Love doesn't always end with a fairy tale kiss. Sometimes it ends quietly, by letting go, by choosing peace over possession, by understanding that not every love story is meant to last forever. But that doesn't mean it wasn't love. Think about the people in your life, the ones who left, the ones who stayed, the ones who showed you what love could be, even if they weren't the ending. What if their role was never to stay, but to prepare your heart for when the right one finally arrives? In the end, maybe the greatest kind of love isn't the one that holds on tightly, but the one that knows when to set someone free. And maybe, just maybe, that's how we learn what it truly means to love. By losing, by growing, and by finding the courage to love again anyway.